Using what we know about lines, we can find the equation of a circle with a given center and tangent line. This is probably the most labor-intensive work we're going to do with finding the equation of circles, at least when the line is just any old line, as it is in this case. So we'd like to give the equation of a circle with center at 2, -5. So HK is 2, -5. And with this line as a tangent, y equals 2/3 x plus 11. In order to do that, we need to find the distance between this point and this line. We remember how to do that. Our first step is to find the equation of the line perpendicular to this one through this point. And that line will have slope. This line has slope positive 2/3. So the perpendicular line will have a negative slope. Reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. The perpendicular line will have slope -3/2. And so its equation will be y minus -5 is y plus 5 equals -3/2 x minus 2, because we'd like it to go through the center there in order to be able to tell us how far the center is away from our line. Okay, so to find the point where they intersect then, we solve the system. Substitution is the easiest way. We replace this y by this expression that's equal to y. And we'll have 2/3 x plus 11 plus 5 equals -3/2 x minus 2. On the left, these parentheses aren't doing anything. We'll just add these numbers together. 2/3 x plus 16. On the right, we have -3/2 x distributing plus 3. -3/2 times -2 gives us +3. Now we want to collect all the variable terms on the left. Adding 3/2 x to both sides, I'm going to have the calculator do the heavy lifting for me here. I get 13/6 x. On the right, subtracting 16 from both sides, I get -13. Dividing both sides by 13/6, we have x equals -6. To find the value of y, well, we have y equals 2/3 times -6 plus 11. Having the calculator do the heavy lifting for us again, we get y equals +7. We'll check that. 7 plus 5, that's 12. -3/2, -6 minus 2, that's also 12. So our point of intersection is -6, 7. Our radius squared, we're just going to write down the radius squared, we won't bother with the square root. Well, it's the difference in the x's squared plus the difference in the y's squared, which gives us 208. The radius squared of our circle is 208, which means the equation of our circle is x minus h is 2 squared plus y minus k is -5, so minus -5 is +5, y plus 5 squared equals 208. And that's the equation of our circle. This is a little bit more involved if we're given just any old line. If the line is horizontal or vertical, this is much easier. It's the same 3 steps, however. We'd like to give the equation of a circle with center at -3, 1, tangent to the line x equals 2. Our center is -3, 1. The distance from that point to x equals 2 will give us the radius. Since that's a vertical line we want to go to, the perpendicular line is horizontal. Though there's no change in y, we only need to look at the change in x. So that's just going to be the difference in the x values, take the absolute value, which is just 5. Much easier to calculate when we have a horizontal or a vertical line. So the equation of our circle, x minus h is -3. X minus -3 is x plus 3. That's squared. Y minus, our k is 1. That's squared. And that's equal to, our radius is 5. We square that, and we get 25. So that's the equation of our circle. Much easier when the tangent line we're interested in is vertical or horizontal. Sometimes we'll talk about being tangent to the x or y axis. The x and y axis are just special horizontal and vertical lines. The x-axis is the horizontal line at y equals 0. So if we want to give a circle with center at -1, 4, h is -1, k is 4, tangent to the x-axis, well, that's tangent to the line y equals 0. So we need to find the distance from -1, 4 to y equals 0. The perpendicular line is going to be vertical. We'll have no change in x, only in y. So that distance is just going to be the difference in the x's, take the absolute value. It's just going to be 4. Our equation then, x minus, the x-coordinate of our center is -1, minus -1 is plus +1 squared, plus y minus, the y-coordinate of our center is 4 squared, equals, we have r is 4, so we square that. We get that that's equal to 16.